Our next algebra lesson is titled Using More Than One Unknown. Our goal is to apply a four-step problem-solving strategy for word problems with more than one unknown. Okay. Do you remember what the four-step problem-solving strategy is? Okay, the acronym is VEST. Identify the variable, write the equation, and solve it. Substitute your answer back into the story problem. Does it make sense? And try it. Okay, let's look at our examples. Tom, Sally, and Jane have a combined age of 24 years. Sally and Jane are twins. Tim is 3 years older. How old is each person? Okay, who do we know the least about? Sally and Jane are twins. Tim is 3 years older. Okay, well, we know Tim is 3 years older, but we don't know anything about the twins, right? So Sally and Jane are twins. Since I like X, I'm going to use X. So X equals Sally and Jane, because they're both the same age, they're twins. And it says Tim is 3 years younger. What does younger mean? Okay, younger means subtract. Tim is younger, so which one is larger? Tim or Sally? Well, obviously Sally's older, so it's going to be X minus 3. And this is Tim. X minus 3 equals Tim. Okay, I've identified my variables. Now what is my equation? Tim, Sally, and Jane have a combined age of 24 years. What does combined mean? Combined means I have to add them. Okay? Okay, so I need Sally plus Jane plus Tim. Tim is X minus 3 equals 24. Okay, now that I have my equation, I can solve it. X, X, X. So 1, 2, 3x minus 3 equals 24. Next in the order of operations is to add and subtract. So these are going to cancel out. I have 3x equals 27. Divide by 3. X equals 9. Okay, so I know Sally's 9. I know Jane is 9. But remember, how old is Tim? Well, I have X minus 3. So 9 minus 3 is 6. So Tim is 6. Okay. Go ahead and click Show Problems. Remember to keep studying your keywords so you know whether to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. The sum of three numbers is 62. The second number is equal to the first number diminished by 4. The third number is 4 times the first. Okay, first of all, I have to identify my variable. Which number do I know the least about? What is X? Well, let's look at it. The second number is equal to the first number diminished by 4. Okay, we know the second number is equal to the first number diminished by 4. I don't know anything about the first number. The third number is 4 times the first. So I know the third number is 4 times, but the number I don't know anything about is the first. Okay? So x is going to be my first number. Okay? It says the second number is equal to the first number diminished by 4. So it's equal to the first number, so it's equal to x. What does diminished by mean? Diminished by means subtract diminished by 4. Okay? So the second number is equal to the first number diminished by 4. So this is the second number. The third number is 4 times the first. Okay, 4 times the first. So 4 times the first is x. So 4x is the third number. Okay, are you with me so far? Now it says, I did my variables, I identified my variables, now I need the equation. The sum of the three numbers is 62. What does sum mean? Sum means I need to add them. Okay, so let's add them. I have x plus x minus 4 plus 4x equals 62. Okay, now I can solve it. I need everything that's alike, like terms, x, and here's another x. So I have 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6, so I have 6x minus 4 equals 62. Next I have to add or subtract. This says minus 4, so let's add 4 to both sides. These cancel out. I have 6x equals 4 plus 2 is 6 equals 66. Then I have to divide by 6, so x equals 11. Okay, so my first number is 11. Now my second number says x minus 4, and we said x is 11, so 11 minus 4 is 7, so my second number is 7. My third number is 4x, so 4x, x is 11, so 4 times 11 is 44. Okay. Alright, let's try another one. This isn't difficult. We just have to take it one step at a time. Remember, identify the variables first, and then write the equation and solve it. We solved it. Put it back in the story problem, see if it makes sense. Well, the story problem said that the sum of these numbers is 62. The second number is equal to the first number diminished by 4. 7 is 11 minus 4. The third number is 4 times the first. 4 times 11 is 44. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. All right. So go ahead and go to number 3. Do number 3. Go ahead and pause the video while you do number 3. And then check it with mine and see how we do. It's important that you do the problem while we're practicing. That way you know where you're messing up, or you know where you need help on, or you know if you're understanding it. Okay. Go ahead and do number 3. Number 3 says separate 846 into 3 parts so that the second part is twice the first part and the third part is triple the second part. Okay. Which do I know least about? It says the second part is twice the first part. Well, we know the second part is twice. but I don't know anything about the first part. The third part is triple the second part, so we know the third part is triple, but we don't know what the first part is. So the first part is going to have to be x. X equals the first part. Now it says the second part is twice the first part. So twice the first part, 2 times that is 2x, and this is the second part. It says the third part is triple the second part. Okay, so the third part is triple. What does triple mean? 3 times 2x, and this is the third part. Did you get that far? Then it says, alright, so now that I've identified my variables, what is the equation? Separate 846 into 3 parts. So what is my equation going to be? Did you figure out that you needed to add those? X plus 2x plus 3 times 2x equals 846. Okay, let's solve these. First I have to take care of parentheses. X plus 2x plus 3 times 2 is 6x equals 846. Okay, now all of these are like terms. They all have x's, so I can add them. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 6 is 9. 9x equals 846. Okay, now I have to divide these by 9. These cancel out, so I need 846 divided by 9. And remember, you're allowed to use your calculator. 84 divided by 9 is 9. 81. 4 minus 1 is 3. Bring down my 6. Times 4. So x equals 94. So my first number is 94. Now it says my second number is 2 times x. So I have to multiply this times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 times 2 is 18. So my second number is 188. It says my third number is 3 times the second number. So 188 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 24, 26. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So my third number is 564. Okay, how far did you get? If you got all that, that is excellent. Just take your time. Do it one step at a time. Remember, work the problem and then check it with mine. Otherwise, when it's time for you to do one on your own in a few minutes, you're going to be lost. Okay, I want you to try number 5. Pause the tape or stop the tape and do number 5 and then check it with mine. Okay, a man divided $9,000 among his wife, son, and daughter. The wife received twice as much as the daughter, and the son received $1,000 more than the daughter. How much did each receive? Who do we know the least about, the wife, son, or the daughter? Because I need to know who X is. Well, the wife received twice as much. Okay, so we know about the wife. We don't know about the daughter. The son received $1,000 more, but we don't know anything about the daughter. So the daughter is going to be X. X is how much the daughter received. Okay? So how much did the wife receive? The wife received twice as much as the daughter. Okay? Twice as much. So twice means 2. Twice as much is going to be 2 times x. Right? So twice as much as the wife. It says the son received $1,000 more. What does more mean? More means add. Okay. So $1,000 more than whom? More than the daughter. The daughter's x. So this is the son. Okay, I've identified my variables. Now my equation. A man divided $9,000. So what am I going to do? So my equation means that I'm going to have to add all these together. Is that what you did? X plus 2x plus 1,000 plus x equals 9,000. Did you get that far? Okay, let's get like terms. X, 2x, and x. So I have 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, so I have 4x plus 1,000 equals 9,000. Order of operations says that I have to subtract, add or subtract next. Minus 1,000 on both sides. These cancel out. So I have 4x equals 8,000. Now I have to get rid of that 4, so let's divide both sides by 4. X equals 8 divided by 4 is 2. So x equals $2,000. You have to remember this is money. So the daughter received $2,000. Okay. Now if the daughter received $2,000, the wife received twice as much as the daughter. So I need 2,000 times 2. 0, 0, 0. 2 times 2 is 4. So the wife received $4,000. Okay? Now the son is 1,000 plus x. Well, let's see, 1,000 plus x is 2,000. So I have to add these. And I get $3,000. Is that what you came up with? Okay. Go ahead and try number 7. Stop the tape, do number 7, and then we'll check them. Okay, number 7. The 4 oldest people in Golden City have lived a total of 384 years put together. The difference in ages of the youngest and the second oldest is 14. The second youngest is 3 years older than the youngest. The oldest is 20 years older than the average of the second oldest and youngest. What are their ages? Okay. First of all, let's identify the variables. Which one do we know the least about? Okay. The difference in ages for the youngest and second oldest is 14. Okay. The second youngest is 3 years older than the youngest. Wow. The oldest is 20 years older than the average of the second oldest and youngest. So, what do we know about the youngest? We don't know anything about the youngest, right? So I'm going to put X is the youngest. Okay. It says the difference in ages for the youngest and second oldest is 14. So what is the second oldest going to be? Second oldest. Oh, we'll get there in just a minute. The second youngest is 3 years older than the youngest. Okay. The second youngest is 3 years older than the youngest. So how am I going to do the second youngest? Okay, it's going to have to be, they're 3 years older. Older would be plus, right? So X plus 3 is the second youngest. I recommend you just walk up and ask them what their ages are. How old are you? Okay, the oldest is 20 years older than the average of the second oldest and youngest. Okay, let's back up a little bit. The difference in ages of the youngest and second oldest is 14. The oldest is 20 years older than the average of the second oldest and youngest. Okay, alright. The difference in ages for the youngest and second oldest is 14. What does that tell me? That tells me the second oldest is 14 years older than the youngest, right? So X plus 14 is going to be the second oldest. Are you with me? Oldest. Second oldest. Okay, now it says the oldest is 20 years older, so 20 years older than the average of the second oldest and youngest. Okay. So 20 years older, is that plus or minus? It's plus. 20 years. Okay, now how do I do the average? It says the average of the second oldest and youngest. In order to average them, I have to add them together and divide by 2, right? So we have to add the second oldest and youngest together. Okay, the second oldest is X plus 14 plus the youngest, right? Yeah, the youngest. And then I have to divide that by 2. To find the average, you have to add them together and divide by 2, right? And this is the oldest. Okay. Did you get that far? Okay. Now that I've identified my variables, it took me a few minutes, but I identified them. What is my equation? It says the 4 oldest people in Golden City have lived a total of 384 years. What does total mean? Okay, total means I have to add them all together, right? Alright, here we go. So I'm going to put the youngest is X plus X plus 3 plus X plus 14 plus this. I'm going to have to move this all over a little bit. Maybe abbreviate this a little bit because I'm running out of room. Okay. Let me try that again. I'm going to have to write smaller. X plus 3 plus X plus 14 plus 20 plus X plus 14 plus x divided by 2. And that equals what? 384. Okay. 384 equals. Okay? Almost didn't cram that in there. Okay, I have x plus 3 plus x plus 14 plus 20 plus x plus 14 plus x divided by 2. Okay, are you ready? Let's combine like terms. I know it's kind of hard to see that. X. No, I'm sorry. We have to get rid of the parentheses first, don't we? Alright. I have x and x. So x plus x is 2x plus 14 divided by 2. I'm going to combine like terms over here. I have 384 equals, look at my x's, x. I have 1, 2, 3x plus 3 plus 14, okay, 14, 3, oopsie, 3 and 20. If I add those, I get 7, I get 37. 37 plus, okay. Okay, so I have 384 plus 3x plus 37. Now, we've used the distributive property to multiply. We're going to use it to divide. I have to divide each of these by 2. What is 2x divided by 2? Well, 2x divided by 2, the 2's are going to cancel out and it's going to be plus x. Okay? What is 14 divided by 2? 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now I can add these. Okay, I still have 384 on this side. This isn't plus, this is equals. Equals 3x plus x is 4x plus 37 plus 7 is 44. Did you get that far? Now I have to subtract 44 from both sides. These are going to cancel out. Let's subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. So I have 340 equals 4x. Let's divide by 4. Okay, 340. You can use your calculator. 340 divided by 4 is 8. 32. So 85 equals x. Okay, so we know the youngest is 85 years old. The second youngest is 85 plus 3, which would be 88. The second oldest is x plus 14, so we have 85 plus 14, 99. Okay, the oldest is 20 plus 85 plus 14 plus 85 divided by 2. Okay, you can use your calculator. Where can I put it? I'm going to do this up and down. 85, 14, and 85. 10, 14, 10, 18. So I have 20 plus 184 divided by 2. Now 18 divided by 2 is 9. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So 20 plus 92 is 112. So the oldest is 112. So how did we do? 85, 88, 99, and 112. Is that what you came up with? That was kind of a long problem. We just have to take our time, do it one step at a time. Okay, go to number 9. I want you to pause the tape, and I want you to try to do this problem. Then I want you to compare it with mine. Okay? Okay, go ahead and stop the tape. Okay, 9 pounds of sweet potatoes cost the same as 6 pounds of apples. 1 pound of sweet potatoes cost twice as much as a pound of onions, while a pound of apples costs 24 cents more than a pound of onions. Alright, here we go. What do we know the least about? Okay, let's do them one at a time. 1 pound of sweet potatoes cost twice. Okay, so we know about sweet potatoes. They cost twice as much. Okay? As a pound of onions. So in the first statement, we don't know anything about onions. While a pound of apples costs 24 cents more, so we know a pound of apples costs 24 cents more than a pound of onions, we still don't know anything about the onions. So X is going to be a pound of onions. Okay? So X equals a pound of onions. Okay? Alright. Now it says 1 pound of sweet potatoes costs twice as much as a pound of onions. So how much do the sweet potatoes cost? Okay, it says twice as much. Twice means 2 times, right? So twice is the sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes. We know that means sweet potatoes. Okay. Now a pound of apples costs 24 cents more than a pound of onions. So how am I going to do that? 24 cents more. How do I write that? 24 plus more than a pound of onions. Onions is X. And this is apples. Okay. Were you able to identify your variables? Okay. Now, what is my equation? 9 pounds of sweet potatoes cost the same as 6 pounds of apples. Okay, 9 pounds of sweet potatoes. Okay. 9 pounds of sweet potatoes. How am I going to show 9 pounds of sweet potatoes? That's 9 times this, right? 9 times 2x. Okay, 9 pounds of sweet potatoes cost the same as. How am I going to show the same as? The same as is equals. Cost the same as 6 pounds of apples. Okay. How am I going to show 6 pounds of apples? Well, if this is a pound, I have to multiply it times 6, right? So I know how much 6 pounds are, right? Okay. So 6 times the quantity, 24 plus x. Parentheses were important on this problem. Now that I have my equation, I can solve it. First, I have to get rid of the parentheses. 9 times 2 is 18. Don't forget your x. 6 times 24. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry my 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. Plus, did you remember to distribute your x? 6x. Did we get that far? Order of operations says to add and subtract. I have an x on both sides, so the x is what I need to get rid of. So the opposite of plus is minus. So minus 6x. These cancel out. 8 minus 6 is 2. 12, don't forget your x, equals 144. Do you know 12 times what is 144? Do you know that one? Okay. That is 12. So onions, now remember, this is cents. It says cents. So my answer is cents. Onions are 12 cents. Sweet potatoes are 2 times the amount of onions. So 12 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. So sweet potatoes are 24 cents. Apples are 24 plus x. X was 12. 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 plus 1 is 3. So apples are 36 cents. Now, look at the questions, okay? The first question says, the cost per pound of sweet potatoes. So it asks for sweet potatoes first, so your first blank is going to be 24. The cost per pound of apples. Apples is 36, so this is your second question. Make sure you read the questions. The cost per pound of onions is 12 cents. So we have the right numbers. Make sure you put them in the right order on your answers. Okay? Go ahead and review this lesson. Take your time and go ahead and finish the problems.